everybody, it's David with No Chaser, and today's topic is based on something kind of in the moment. I guess you could just say I have the case of the blues. Um, just sad about some things going on in my life, and I just thought of this phrase, just dealing with sadness soberly. Um, it's very difficult because you know the thing that drugs and alcohol offer is just that elevation of mood, just right away. Just this, it's chemical. It's hollow in the end, but it does work. It works its trick, and sometimes it's hard to just sit in an emotion you have, and especially one like sort of sadness or grief that you may be encountering, or this could also be like a feeling of loneliness, and you're kind of stuck there. And I was talking with somebody who was also in a kind of the same boat, and it's hard to be around people. It's hard to you know get yourself out there, because the thing is that you don't want to necessarily be alone. The mind can just be awful to you if you're just by yourself, but then at the same time it's difficult to kind of be around people. And I know some people fall into the category where they feel like they have to not put up a front, but put on a certain face. Be a certain type of person. It's hard to kind of share your emotions, and like I was always of the ilk where it wasn't that I wanted just to hide them. I didn't want to be gloomy or just kind of, I didn't want to be bummed out in front of people, because I just didn't want to lower the mood of the room, or I and it's difficult too, because I think that sometimes it comes into issues of trust. And by trust I mean trust that, like, if you are vulnerable and you open up, the feedback you get may not be what you want, or it may not help you out in that way. I think that one thing, especially as an alcoholic, or an addict, is that our reward centers and our pain tolerance, like emotional and mental sort of pain, our levels of patience it's all out of whack, because we've been so used to having something that just relieves it right away. Now, as alcoholics and addicts, we've dealt with a tremendous amount of pain because, of the stuff that it does to us, the hardships that it brings. But there's also this sense of, if you have the bottle, or if you have the drug, you can be in control of it. You can take that shot, you can take that drink, you can smoke, whatever, and just kind of sit back and just push those emotions down and push those feelings down. And it gives you this false sense of control. And I always found that so just attractive in a way. Like it was appealing to me, just the idea that I could push away things, or relieve myself, or quell the anxieties, or not even anxiety so much, but like I said, elevate my mood just with the just by ingesting something. But nothing comes free, and over time the tolerance gets so high that you have to use more and more, and then sometimes it doesn't even work. And it's the story, it's a vicious cycle. But when you're sober, you have to deal with these emotions just head on, and sometimes there's really not anything you can do about it. Like, I know I fell into the trap where I just thought that, okay, I will do one of my like coping behaviors or coping mechanisms or something like that, and then it'll go away. And then when I did that and it didn't go away, I was flustered and disappointed, and it sent me for a little bit of it put me on edge, because I'm just so used to, again, that instant gratification, something that I can do that will just work kind of immediately. And, I know feelings are in, whether it's depression, or a bout of anger, or, just a feeling of severe loneliness or something like that, or just kind of grief, whatever you're going through. I know it's temporary. I think I have always had the fear that I know it's temporary and it'll pass, but I'm just, so worried that it will come again too. And I just, putting up with it is just, I find it so hard to do. It's hard to just kind of sit there, and weather the storm. And I'm just kind of in that position right now where there's just some things going on, and it just, I want to avert myself from kind of the bad feeling so much, and I find myself trying to do things, like, again, trying to do things with expectations that, okay, if I meditate, if I eat, if I, call somebody, if I reach out, if I do all these things, I'm expecting it to make these feelings go away. And that's the wrong kind of attitude to have. It's good that I've learned how to kind of do these things, but I still have this mindset where I just, I find it difficult to really sit and stay in the depression, because I've suffered from depression, like all my life, and it was the one thing that was even before, my chemical dependency, and it was just when drugs and alcohol got into the mix, and something that kind of made those emotions go away. It was such a revelation, and in a bad way though, because I never learned for so long how to really deal with it. And so, I'm in this spot now where over the years when I've had prolonged sobriety and, my victories, I've learned ways to cope and everything like that. But, even if you've done it a bunch of times, it's still very difficult. So it's, it's one thing to deal with anxiety, like worry and dread. You kind of just try to distract yourself, try to use positive affirmations, things like that. For me, though, just kind of the depression or the sadness is it can be difficult because it can lead down towards a road of to the hopeless sort of feeling, and that's the worst place to be, and that's the place I know I have to avoid at all costs, because that one is, when I get to that place, that's when I truly give up, or rather give in and drink, because at least for me, I'm the person where I don't think I'm gonna drink or use drugs normally. I'm not gonna I smash that delusion, but I also, when I give in to it and when I drink, I don't, I block out the consequences. I block out the reality of my situation and what I'm gonna embark upon by drinking again and all that sort of stuff. And so I know I have to kind of stay the course and just keep, it's one of those things where and practicing mindfulness was so difficult, because it was just like, okay, you have to focus, your mind gets off center again, and you have to refocus again, and your mind travels this way and goes that way, and it's really, really difficult. I still, to this day, when I meditate, it's a difficult process, but I know it's helpful to me. But yeah, I guess this is just, me sharing my thoughts on being caught up in, emotions of sort of sadness and sort of difficult emotions to deal with, but dealing with them soberly. And so, if anybody else is going through that, my heart goes out to you, and I'm in the same boat. I wish you all well, and if you're just watching this just because you're curious and want to watch it, I wish you well too. And other than that, be well.